The Goodbye Girl, 1977, actors who tragically passed away. In the golden glow of the late 1970s, when Hollywood was filled with laughter, heartbreak and timeless storytelling, a small romantic comedy became something extraordinary. The Goodbye Girl, released in 1977, wasn't just a film. It was a heartbeat of that era. It spoke about love, loss, and second chances in a world that often feels too quick to forget. It was a story about two people learning to live, love, and forgive. But behind the scenes, the people who brought that story to life had journeys filled with triumphs, struggles, and for some tragedy. Tonight, we remember those beloved faces, the ones who gave us warmth, humor, and heart, but who are no longer with us. This is their story. Paul Benedict, the gentle humor behind the curtain. In The Goodbye Girl, Paul Benedict played the eccentric director Mark. With his distinctive voice, kind eyes, and tall frame, Benedict made every scene memorable. His humor wasn't loud or exaggerated. It was intelligent, subtle, and deeply human. Born in 1938 in New Mexico, Paul's life was never meant to be ordinary. Early in his youth, he was diagnosed with acromegaly, a rare condition that gave him his unique facial features. Instead of hiding from the world, Paul embraced it. He turned his difference into strength. In the 1960s and 70s, Benedict became a respected stage actor in New York, known for his brilliant timing and calm charisma. But his true rise to fame came through comedy, most notably in the TV series The Jeffersons, where he played the lovable English neighbor. Harry Bentley, people adored him. He wasn't just funny, he was warm, genuine, and full of life. But behind the laughter, Paul was a private man. He preferred quiet conversations over crowded rooms, books over fame. In December 2008, the world lost him quietly. He passed away at the age of 70 in his home in Martha's Vineyard. The news broke softly, like the closing of a curtain after a beautiful play. Even in death, Paul Benedict left behind a simple, powerful legacy. You don't have to shout to be heard. Sometimes kindness and humor are loud enough. Teresa Merritt, the soulful voice of strength. Next, we remember Teresa Merritt, who played the strong, loving neighbor in The Goodbye Girl. Her screen presence was like sunlight, natural, warm, and sincere. Born in 1922 in Emporia, Virginia, Teresa's journey began far from Hollywood. She grew up in Harlem during the Great Depression, where opportunities for African-American artists were painfully limited. Yet Teresa's voice, rich, soulful, and filled with spirit, could not be ignored. She began singing in church choirs and performing in local theaters, where her talent caught attention. Soon she became a Broadway star, known for her performances in The Wiz and Don't Play Us Cheap. Teresa didn't just act. She spoke truth through her performances. Whether it was comedy, drama, or music, she carried her heritage, her strength, and her heart into every role. By the time she appeared in The Goodbye Girl, she had already made history as one of the first African-American women to headline her own TV show. That's My Mama in 1974. But life wasn't easy. Years of hard work took their toll. And by the late 1990s, Teresa's health began to decline. In June 1998, she passed away at the age of 75. Her departure left a silence that words could not fill. Yet her impact, her laughter, her courage, her music continues to echo in every performance that celebrates diversity and strength. Teresa Merritt taught the world that true beauty lies in honesty. Her light still shines in every story told by those she inspired. Powers Boothie, the voice of intensity. If you remember The Goodbye Girl, you might recall a brief but powerful presence, Powers Booth, whose intensity was unmistakable even in smaller roles. Powers Booth was born in 1948 in Texas. From the very start, he stood out, not just for his deep, commanding voice, but for his ability to blend strength with sensitivity. He wasn't the typical Hollywood leading man. He was something rarer, An actor who could play villains with empathy and heroes with mystery. After The Goodbye Girl, Booth's career skyrocketed. He starred in Guyana Tragedy, the story of Jim Jones, where his haunting performance as the cult leader earned him an Emmy Award. Later, audiences admired him in Tombstone, Deadwood, and Sin City. But behind his strong screen image, Powers was humble and deeply thoughtful. Friends described him as a quiet storm, kind-hearted, yet filled with creative fire. In May 2017, tragedy struck. Booth passed away in his sleep at the age of 68. It was sudden, unexpected, and heartbreaking. Hollywood mourned deeply. Co-stars remembered his loyalty, his laughter, and his unforgettable presence. Powers Booth was a man who spoke less but meant every word. His voice still echoes through time, deep, powerful, and eternal. Nicol Williamson, the troubled genius. Finally, we come to Nicol Williamson, one of the most extraordinary actors of his generation. He was born in 1936 in Scotland, and even as a young man, his intensity was unmatched. In The Goodbye Girl, Williamson's brief appearance carried a certain electricity, the kind that makes you remember a face long after the credits roll. But his real power was on stage. Nicol was known for his Shakespearean performances, especially Hamlet and Macbeth, where critics hailed him as one of the finest actors of the 20th century. Yet genius often comes with struggle. Nicol's temper, perfectionism, and inner demons made him both brilliant and difficult to work with. He demanded honesty from himself and everyone around him. His most famous film role came in 1981 as Merlin in Excalibur. His performance was spellbinding, mysterious, witty, and full of depth. But as years passed, personal challenges overshadowed his career. He withdrew from public life, preferring peace over spotlight. In 2011, at the age of 73, Nicol Williamson passed away after a long battle with cancer. His death marked the end of an era, the passing of a true artist who lived and breathed his craft. Those who worked with him described him as difficult, yes, but unforgettable. He was a man who poured his soul into every role, leaving behind a legacy that still burns bright in the hearts of true cinema lovers. Farewell to The Goodbye Girl. The Goodbye Girl was more than just a film. It was a reflection of real people, real emotions, and the fragile beauty of human connection. Behind its humor and romance were artists, each carrying their own struggles, dreams, and hopes. Today, as we look back, we remember Paul Benedict, Theresa Merritt, Powers Booth, and Nicol Williamson, four souls who gave everything they had to their art and left us far too soon. They may have said their goodbyes to this world, but through film, through the laughter, the tears, and the memories, they live forever. Perhaps that's what cinema truly is, not just light on a screen, but life preserved in motion. And as the credits roll, we realize that goodbye doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes it's just a promise that we'll remember.